On today's episode, I'm going to be challenging myself and reading 3 books in 3 days. I rolled my ankle playing basketball. Be stuck in bed anyways. The second reason is because I actually learned a new concept in the last book I read, which was Limitless. And this concept was speed reading. So I want to actually apply speed reading and see if I can actually retain the information that I'm reading from the next 3 books. So what it does is you start visualizing the text and skimming through the text as well, focusing on the main words. And I want to see if I can actually apply this to the 3 books I'm about to read and if I'm going to retain the information from it. So enjoy the vlog and see you in the video. Alright, so I just had to go get my coffee, got my SpongeBob mug. So yeah, I just finished the introduction for this book and I'm already really hooked to it because it's taking you away from the toxic discipline culture. One of the quotes that he mentions that's quite toxic in terms of discipline is a quote by Muhammad Ali that says that I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion. I completely disagree with this as well. You have to learn to enjoy the process, and that's exactly what I'm doing on my YouTube journey as well. With my team, we never worry about the numbers. We never worry about, we analyze them and find ways to get better at it, but we enjoy the process. Like for me, I'm living every video that I do now. So what I mean by that is I literally read things that are interesting to me. And then from there, I improve upon my life with those things. So I think that's the best way to do it. And it's been so fun. It's been so motivating to get stuff done. And this is a good way that Ali Abdaal rephrases this as well. He says, success doesn't lead to feeling good. Feeling good leads to success. So that's exactly how I feel about it too. So enjoy every moment of the process and tailor the process to moments that you can enjoy as well. So don't do something that you really hate because you're going to be miserable. So do something you love and tailor your process that way and enjoy it, and success is inevitable. It'll come. That's exactly what me and my team say as well. And we're all having fun. We're all growing as human beings. At the end of the day, if my YouTube channel does not grow, it doesn't matter because to us, we learned skills. I learned how to read faster, especially with speed reading that I learned from Jimmy Quick's, Jimmy Quick's book, Limitless. So all these things are just making me a better person. I learned to journal better, which is great for my mental health. I learned to meditate and stay present. All these things are just leading to us becoming better human beings and becoming more at peace with ourselves. So I'm not too worried about that. At the end of the day, we still won. So I appreciate this process. And that's exactly how this book is starting. And I think that's great. It really caught my attention and I'm ready for chapter number 1. So I had to come back with chapter 1, which is play, just because a lot of things here resonated with me. The very first thing was that life is stressful, play makes it fun. I completely agree. And then play is our first energizer. Life is stressful, play makes it fun. If we can integrate the spirit of play into our lives, we'll feel better and do more too. I completely agree. So for instance, just with this challenge that I created for myself for reading 1 book a day for 3 days, because I have 3 days off, made it so much more fun because my personality is very competitive and I love playing sports. So that's literally one of the aspects of this as well. Find your personality and create a game according to that personality, which I did, which was a challenge. So I'm competing with myself to see if I can do this. So in summary, it says one thing that I really loved as well. It says seriousness is overrated. If you want to achieve more without ruining your life, the first step is to approach your life with a sense of play. I completely agree with this. I love how it says without ruining your life, because the more we stress, the more our cortisol gets raised for a longer period of time, and the more detrimental our health gets, and we aren't as happy as we're supposed to be. So just create play in any aspect that you're trying to do. Make it fun, be curious about how you can make it more fun, and things of that aspect. So for instance, even when I'm working as a registered nurse in the hospital, whenever I used to have like a 16-hour shift, I used to dread that. because 16 hours is a really long time. However, I made a game into it. So I started seeing how many other things can I do along with work. So this gave me so much more energy. For instance, like, can I work out today for an hour? And let's see if I can beat my PRs yesterday. And with that, will I be able to get my journaling and my reading done today? Let's see if we can do that. So creating this aspect of intrigue, making your day interesting, making it playful, making it curious, having fun with your colleagues, asking about their life, right? Talking about what you've been up to. Like, all those things create it more fun, positive. That's the best way to learn and grow as a person. And I think it's not talked about enough. I remember just a couple days ago, it was pretty interesting. I was asking, my brother-in-law was talking about how back when he was in India, he used to clean his motorcycle with all his friends. So they used to pull up to a house and all of them used to just clean their cars or motorcycles, and they loved that. They said it was super fun, and I couldn't really grasp that. I'm like, how's that fun? Because they got to socialize, they got to like get their tea in between the sessions of cleaning, and that's how they kind of spent life. They loved it, and it was pretty interesting. So I think including the aspect of play, finding purpose in what you're doing, whatever that may be, and that just makes it more fun. So I actually ended up reading chapter 2 and 3 together because it was so intriguing and it was just so powerful, the lessons that I learned. The very first thing I want to talk about is chapter 2. It talks about empowering yourself. So it talks about power and power for yourself. So kind of like bringing in autonomy to whatever you're trying to do. So believing you can is the first step to making sure you actually can. And I think this is super powerful because I remember the team that I'm working with right now, whenever they work with clients, the clients give them strict guidelines. They make sure that these are the times that you have to finish this, and only this way is the way that you can do it. So they felt very disempowered. They didn't have autonomy, and they didn't like the process, right? Whereas as I'm working with this team, I know that they're experts of video editing. And for myself, I'm the expert of reading and self-motivating, creating that mindset. However, for editing, for the overall vision, I think they are better at in terms of like the actual video. So I think that makes a big difference. And they always talk, both my teammates always talk about how this has empowered them to be very creative, to try new ways of kind of doing our video editing and creating our vision. So it makes the whole process more fun for everyone. With the medical expertise I bring in, they bring in their video editing expertise and also just the career that they had with viral videos, working with other clients. They bring in that expertise and I trust them. I think that goes a really long way because chapter 3 actually talks about people, right? And this is what it says. Life is more fun with friends around. That's why our third energizer is people. There are some people who naturally lift our energy. The trick is finding them. This is quite interesting because just yesterday, my YouTube manager, the guy that I work with, he was talking about how like he was sick. And the first thing that he thought of when he was sick is that in order to get stuff done today, I should call Sonny. So he calls me up and he's like, Sonny, it's crazy, man. Like whenever I talk to you, you bring in so much positive energy and so much energy in general that I get so excited to just start the day again. Like I get excited to do my routine. And I never really thought of it this way until then I started reflecting on this in my journal as well, and at work as well, where I work as a registered nurse. There was a healthcare aide that was telling me, Sonny, you're the only individual that I work with that's always in a good mood. Like, how do you not get in a bad mood, right? And I said something pretty profound, but I didn't think of it at that time as profound. What I said was, I was like, it's better to be in a good mood in a crappy situation than to be in a bad mood in a crappy situation, because if you're in a bad mood in a crappy situation, your cortisol level is going to be risen, right? And it's going to be risen throughout the day, and you're just going to feel more crappy because of the compounding effect of that. And on top of that, you're going to hurt your body. So why not in a crappy situation be in a good mood? So a crappy situation in that time was us doing an overnight shift and it was 4 a.m. So why not be in a good mood? Because that way you get that extra dopamine to just work through it, and you get to work with people and be happy with people so that they're happy too, and that gives you extra energy to work throughout the day instead of like, being stressed. So that's kind of like how I put it, and I now that I reflect back on it, that was pretty profound. And ever since I've been seeing that healthcare aide after that day, she's always more happier. And it's I'm not saying that I'm the reason for that. I'm saying it could be like the more I reflect on it, the behaviors are changing, or maybe I'm just biased with that lens and I'm looking for those positive behaviors. But without me rambling, that's what I learned from these two chapters. And on to chapter 4. This is super fun. I do want to, however, talk about the fact that I did get a little tired towards the end of chapter 3. So I did do my push-ups, which I recorded as well, just to kind of get that energy flowing, my brain like going again. So that's kind of like how I'm feeling throughout this book. I love the book. I think Ali Abdaal did a great job. I always see his ads on Instagram and stuff like that, so I thought he became more into like money and kind of like, into that capitalistic kind of way of being now. However, this book is beautiful so far, and I'm very impressed with him, and I'm so happy that he wrote this book. So, cheers. All right. So the first part of this book was quite fun because it was talking about energizing, like how can you increase your energy for doing something. The second part of this book is about unblocking, so that's where I kind of got tired. And so I started implementing stuff from this book as I was reading to encourage my reading as well, to finish this book today. So it was quite interesting. So the very first thing that just talks about like one of the barriers is procrastination, and then we often just fight through it or just paralyze ourselves and not do anything about procrastination. But this book actually talks about what's the deeper meaning behind your procrastination, right? So for instance, for this example about me reading right now, I I noticed that the reason I was procrastinating is because I felt unhealthy, if that makes sense, because I was reading in my room all day or downstairs, and I wasn't doing anything that's like active in terms of my physical body. So then, what did I do to fix this? I actually just went outside, got a couple of body weight workouts done, and instantly felt better. And I came here and I started tackling the rest of this book. So as I was reading this book, I actually got paralyzed by another thing, which was fear of not finishing this book. And literally this chapter talks about fears and how we can overcome them and things of that sort. So I ended up implementing the 10-10-10 rule. So the 10-10-10 rule is this. So the second is to reduce your fear. Our fears are often blown out of proportion. Ask yourself these questions to prevent yourself from catastrophizing. Will this matter in 10 minutes? Will this matter in 10 weeks? Will this matter in 10 years? So the fear of me not finishing this book on time today, will this matter in 10 minutes? Yes, it will, because I will feel like I failed today. I had a task, I didn't get it done, right? Which is fine. Will it matter in 10 weeks? Not really, because if I think about it, I will be journaling it about this aspect tomorrow or even tonight, and just talking about what could have I done to kind of do better for the next day. So I don't even think it would matter in like the next 2-3 days. So it's because I view failure as something that's a learning opportunity for me, and it's been working as a miracle for me. So I would have actually taken this constructively and done better the next day or even 2-3 days from now. But yeah, so it was quite interesting when I implemented that 10-10-10 rule. So 10 minutes, 10 weeks, and 10 years. It made the biggest difference. So you can implement something like that as well. So now, the third part of part 2 talks about just getting started. So I was, again, getting into this idea of like just getting tired and not wanting to read. So I decided to just support myself here and take a 5-minute break, which is literally what it talks about. So it was pretty cool and neat. And then I thought about something else that the book said. The book said that you can implement a method of just working on a task for 5 minutes. So then I decided that, okay, like I kept procrastinating about it, and then I started thinking, if I just work on the book for 5 minutes, let's just try it. Like, it's just 5 minutes. So I literally put a timer on for 5 minutes, and guess what? I ended up finishing the whole section. So now I'm on the last section, which is about sustaining. So let's run this next part and I'll be back. So I finally finished Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity book, currently at about 3 in the morning. So I implemented his strategies along the way so that I could actually finish it and not postpone it to tomorrow. And the strategies work. So very first thing that it talks about is conserve. So what it means by that is conserve yourself from burning out. So when you burn out, what are ways that you can prevent this from happening? We usually think that it's from overexertion, but it actually could just be feeling tired. It doesn't have to be from overexertion. So how can you make yourself not feel tired or overwhelmed? And one of the things that he talks about is just the ability to say no. So say no to the things that you don't want to do during the day. You can prioritize things that way and you can not spend your energy on those things. So that's something that really resonated with me because I like to be a yes man. Whenever something is out there, hey bro, want to start this project, or bro, want to go play basketball right now, I usually have a hard time saying no. But this book kind of taught me like I need to say no, otherwise I will burn out for things that really matter to me, and that's not good. And the second thing I really took away from this is just this idea of scheduling your breaks. So after doing a bout of like 30 minutes of deep work, just get a 15-minute break. The smaller the break, the less rejuvenated you'll feel. There was studies done where 1 and 3 minute breaks didn't make too big of a difference, but when you took a 10-minute break after 30 minutes, 50 minutes of work, it made a bigger difference. So I think scheduling your breaks and making sure that they're at least 1/4 of what your work period was. So that's really good as well. And then what else resonated with me was from the recharge aspect. So recharge aspect, one thing that really resonated with me was when he's talking about just letting your mind wander and don't do anything. So it's called the write-off principles. So basically, if you feel burnt out, don't seamlessly like scroll through Netflix or scroll through reels and things of that sort, because you still have the lingering guilt behind you of not finishing your tasks or not getting your work day done. So basically, instead of that, just have the write-off principle where you just write off the day. You just say, I'm done today. I'm just gonna do what I wanna do. That way, you don't have that lingering guilt, but you can still go and watch Netflix. You can still scroll through those reels. I wouldn't suggest scrolling through reels, but you know what I mean. It's way better this way, and I've actually implemented this in my life. I didn't know it was called the write-off principle, and it's been working wonders. I actually suggested it to my YouTube manager today as well, because he usually has that lingering guilt all the time of not doing the task. But I told him like, bro, it's unproductive to do that. So just get rid of that thought, and you'll be more productive the next day from this write-off principle. The last thing that really caught my eye in this book was just the last part of this sustain idea, which was alignment. So alignment of your values with your behaviors to really make sure that you can sustain all these good habits for the rest of your life, or be more disciplined and productive for what you want to do and produce for the rest of your life. And this is where it comes, the wheel of life. So in broad, it talks about relationships, health, and work. So under each of those, it talks about relationships, your friends, your romantic relationships, and your family. And under in health, it talks about body, mind, and soul. And under work, it talks about mission, money, and growth. So it's pretty interesting. This wheel of life is what Ali Abdaal actually implements in his life, where he does a 12-month celebration after every year about, did he reach these goals? Did he do better in each of these aspects of his life? And he learned this from a doctor as well when he was actually studying in medicine. And he's still been implementing this wheel of life. And I think I'm gonna do this in my journaling method as well. And it doesn't have to be the 12-month goal. You can even set smaller goals that are more tangible for today or tomorrow, so that allows you to actually see real-time changes or progress that you can actually see. Because 12 months is kind of a long time, and you might not be able to really grasp it as that well, or even might be overwhelmed and be paralyzed to actually move forward. So the best way is just make those tangible small goals as well towards that big goal in 12 months. So this could mean, like, for instance, like let's say you want to build your romantic relationship more. Like you feel like you're not giving enough time there. You can literally just do, like, tomorrow you can be like, okay, I'm gonna have a phone call with my loved one and talk about and listen to them, listen to how their day was and stuff, which I wasn't doing before. So this is something that's tangible, and the next day that you can see progress in real time, instead of saying that, oh, we're gonna have a loving relationship in 12 months, more intimate relationship in 12 months. That's too far of a goal. It's more abstract, it's more vague. This is more tangible to get to that goal. So that's how you can implement this. Overall, I thought this book was great. I think it's a really quick read, although I was getting lazy at certain points and I fixed that. The one thing that I really loved about this book is that each point that Ali Abdaal makes, he has an experiment for it. So this experiment kind of reinforces that point, and on top of that, it kind of helps you visualize the point as well, so you don't forget. And these experiments are very simple. That it's like something that you'd feel like you already know. So it really reiterates everything and gets it stuck in your head and makes all these tools readily available to you. Some of them I implemented today and I talked about them in my vlog. So I would recommend this book to other people as well. I would rate it about a 4.5 out of 5. So there's 3 parts to this book. And the very first part is just energizing yourself with the 3 P's. Very first P is play, power, so empowering yourself, and people, so working with people. And then after that, it's about how to unblock certain things that are preventing you from being productive, and then how to sustain those productive habits or discipline throughout your life. So that's kind of the way that Ali Abdaal has written this book, and I highly recommend it. I thought it was a great read. I was quite surprised and quite happy with the results.
All right, so we're doing day 2 of reading today.
Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. And today we're doing book 2 for day 2, The Power of Now. And I just got it, got my coffee right here with a little protein bar. And we're ready to rock this. So I just finished 2 chapters of The Power is Now, and I love it so far. The author really advocates for being present and being conscious and being in the moment instead of really being tied to our mind all the time, so always thinking. So he says the more in the present you are, the more resources you can build for thinking in the future when you have tasks. So only orient your thinking to when you're doing tasks, not when you're just trying to be. So he said, learn to be, just being present is what he's trying to say. So I actually implement something similar where when I feel overwhelmed or anxious, I always tell myself, be still, be present. So that kind of helps me stay in the moment as well. So it's really cool to see another perspective on that and the reasoning behind it as well. He really goes into details about it. So it's really cool right now. He also really gets you to get away from your sufferings in the past or the future by being in present. So the more present you are, the easier for you not to let go of your suffering in the past or the future, but to not let it bother you at that moment. So you can find a later time to actually work through those feelings and those sufferings as well, instead of just letting it affect you throughout your day at all times. So he also mentions how the sufferings that we feel is kind of a norm for us. So that's why we keep chasing it, because it helps us be comfortable. But that's not what we should be doing. We should just be present and let go of the past and future, and then really just stay in the present. So now I'm about to start chapter 3, which is about moving deeply into the now. So let's see what that's about. So it seems that the author is really focusing on the now. So he talks about two type of times. So if you're thinking about practical aspects of your life, such as making that schedule and working on tasks in your life, that's called the clock time. So that's when you work hard and get the clock time done. However, he says, make sure that you don't linger and identify yourself with that task after it's done. So for instance, let's say you got your task done for school, but however, once that task is done, you still keep thinking about it. Now that is called psychological time. Now you're spending so much energy thinking about that and it's not benefiting you at all. So he wants you to be present after the task is done so that there's no psychological time. There's only clock time and being, which is the now. It really emphasizes reflecting on what's going on right now in your life. So being present, being in the now. So in meditation too, when you do any type of meditation, it brings you back to the moment. It also, obviously, you will have distractions, you will get distracted, but the main thing is you have to bring it back into the present. That's literally what this author is advocating for as well in your life. Whenever you feel distracted, just think about that and then come back in the present. So that's kind of the main thing, and then use clock time for the practical things that you need to get done. What up, everyone? So I just finished the book, The Power of Now. Overall, I would rate it about like 4.3 out of 5. I love the book. I thought the main idea about like being in the moment, being present, and not letting your past or future like really, identify you or affect you on a daily basis. Not even a daily basis, but on every moment or every hour of your day is something isn't helpful at all. So it's important to just be in the moment, stay away from any negative thoughts, not even negative thoughts, just your past, identification with your past or your future, and just be still in the present. And I truly agree with that idea. However, it just kept reiterating the same thing. I was really looking for some practical tools as well. I meditate daily twice, and it's been a game changer for my mental health, and I think everyone should do it as well. However, this book did mention meditation once or twice, but it didn't really show you what other steps you can do to be more still, be more in present. It only kind of like, I like the way the book was set up, in the sense like there was an individual questioning the author with a bunch of ways, and the author answered the question and showed them how they were kind of wrong and how you can still be present, be still, and all that in different situations. However, it wasn't really showing you practical ways to kind of enforce this way of being by yourself as well. So that's why I didn't like it that much, but I still love the book in terms of the main idea. That's why I'm rating it a 4.3 out of 5. So The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. It wasn't bad. It was not a bad book. And the next one we're reading is The Mountain Is You. But before that, I'm going to bed, and I'll see you tomorrow with the third book, The Mountain Is You, by Brianna Wiest. And that'll be my third book and third day, and I'm ready to go to bed. So good night, peeps. Alrighty, so we got our book number 3 on day 3. The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. Brianna Wiest is the author, and I'm very excited for this one because my cousin recommended it and my fiance, so I'm excited to read this book, and I'll keep you posted with how it goes. And got my coffee right here in my Seattle cup, so Starbucks, where it originated. And without further ado, let's get started with this. Post this saying on my Instagram because it's so powerful. It says, usually when we have a problem that is circumstantial, we are facing the reality of life. When we have a problem that is chronic, we are facing the reality of ourselves. And then it also just talks about the compounding of these negative life experiences that we hold on to and don't let go, that creates this chronic pain within us. So I really love this book already. I think it's great. Like it's something that everyone I think needs to read, just in terms of facing your demons, facing your challenges and things of that sort. So I'm continuing to read it, but I have to post this on Instagram real quick, so I'll come back to this. So far, this book is amazing. Another quote I came across that I found very impactful and powerful was, "When we fail out of negligence, we take a step back. When we fail because we are attempting new feats, we take one step closer to what will work." So that's amazing. Just think about it. So when you fail out of negligence, that's when you're not trying, or you're not putting in the hours, you're not really doing the task that you're supposed to do to succeed in the field that you want to succeed. That's when you're taking a step back. But when you're failing from trying, you're actually taking a step forward. Like, it's inevitable. You're gonna fail at something, and the more you want to succeed, the more you will fail, which is a good thing, because take that failure and take it as a learning opportunity. This is where journaling is very powerful. This is where brainstorming with your team is very powerful, just to see how you can prevent the things that just happened that caused the failure and work towards getting better. You're never going to be perfect, but it's always about progress over perfection, and that's something you can work towards as well. I love this book so far. I'm going to continue reading it. I'm actually headed to the gym now, but I'll read it in the car because it caught my attention and I can't let go. Already, there are so many things that I already love about this book. One of the things that I want to talk about is that, like right here, one of these quotes. So it says, "Overcoming self-sabotage is not about trying to figure out how to override your impulses. It is first determining why those impulses exist in the first place." It really talks about self-sabotaging behaviors aren't just present there. There's a root cause for why they occur. So the root cause is the disease. Like, what's the trauma? What caused you to behave in this way? So instead of looking at the actual self-sabotaging behavior, look at what caused that. And the best thing about this is you can really find out what caused it by journaling. That's what's really helped me. Like, throughout the day, I always looked at my disruptive behaviors that I do on a daily basis. And then one by one, I started looking at, why do they exist? Like, what's the reason behind them? Before, I used to just blame my ADHD, but now that I look deeper, there's always a reason behind them. And that's the main thing about these behaviors. Get conscious of them, figure out why do they exist, and then start attacking them. Not attacking them, but trying to better them. So that's why I'm loving this book so far. It's just really resonating with me. I think this is a great read for anyone that's trying to begin this journey, or a journey for self-improvement, and feel like there's too many behaviors that they have to overcome. It's important to look at root causes. Sometimes a root cause can actually be influencing multiple behaviors that you have. So I think that's important as well, to really see what's going on. So I really like this. I like this quote as well, because this quote really deals with what I went through in terms of my self-improvement journey as of now. "The greatest act of self-love is to no longer accept a life you are unhappy with. It is to be able to state the problem plainly and in a straightforward manner." So everything I'm doing today is basically going towards this. So I'm learning to state the problem plainly and not accept things that I'm not happy with, especially if they're in my control and I can change them, which I believe everything is. Although sometimes social factors, political factors can affect an individual's life, as well as economic factors. But I think at the same time, there are places where you can exercise your autonomy and try to better your situation as well. However, I totally agree with the root causes being political, social, or economic that can be a lot more difficult to overcome. And I've seen it firsthand working as a registered nurse. But this is something that really resonated with me. What I'm working towards in my self-improvement journey as of now is really having the problems written down plainly. And I think therapy is helping a lot with that. So when I first initially started going to therapy, I started noticing that I'm a yes man. I don't like conflict. I don't like saying no. And then now I'm recognizing where that stems from. I like to please people. But now it's something that isn't true to myself, true to my values. So now I'm going away from that. I'm being more assertive. I'm putting the foot down where it needs to be put down. So it's a lot better now for myself. So I'm plainly stating it. Therapy helped with that, and now like therapy actually empowered me. Now I'm able to do what my therapist did by myself through journaling as well. Obviously, if something really overwhelms me, I go back to him. But otherwise, I'm able to really tackle these things by myself as well, and that's the best thing. But I think what therapy initially helps with a lot is having an objective lens on your life. So with you, you have confirmation biases, you have belief perseverance, where you just preserve your belief no matter what. You confirm everything that confirms your belief. So for instance, like let's say I think I'm a good basketball player. So every time I make a shot, I think I'm great. I'm great. I don't think about the times that I miss because that's contradictory to my belief. So that's just belief, confirmation bias. So you select things that are already making your belief stronger. And belief perseverance is even in contradictory information, you're still preserving your belief. So that's why I think it's very important to first go to therapy. Really they look at it from an objective lens. And I can just talk about belief perseverance. No, not belief perseverance, confirmation bias as of now. This book has a lot to do with how I have been working with my life. So for me, this book is amazing because of confirmation bias. I keep seeing things that I'm working on and I keep doing in my life. And as a person that has a YouTube channel that actually talks about my self-improvement journey, this is everything that I'm hitting. So I have a confirmation bias here. I'm thinking like this book is the greatest book ever. However, I recognize that just because it's rooted in me to critically think now. I don't just accept things without first like seeing what they are, right? So I'm not saying this book is bad. I love this book. I'm just saying like it's cool that I was able to recognize that I have a confirmation bias with this book. So cheers to that. Let's continue growing together, and I'm going to continue finishing this book because it is fun. What up, everyone? I hope everyone is doing well. I finally finished the book, The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. In terms of rating, I would rate it about a 4.2 out of 5. I love some of the ideas in the book, especially the mountain being yourself, and kind of the book tries to empower you to overcome your own obstacles in life, and I really appreciate that. I thought the chapter on healing was amazing too, where we're really scared from change because whenever we say that in life, like this is, I don't want my life to be like this, the reason that we get stuck there is basically because it's comfortable to us. So we don't like leaving comfort, even though you may not like your life, you end up staying there because it's comfortable. So take that first step towards change. It is going to be uncomfortable, but Brianna Weiss says that it will lead to good results. And same things happen with me in my life as well. I've been taking those steps as well. And it's all about making micro changes, is what she says as well. You can't just make a drastic change into a new life. You have to do it slowly, and it will happen surely over time once you make those micro changes. That's the same thing when I read Atomic Habits, making those little changes daily that are going to compound and make it a lot easier for you in the future. So that's some of the things that I loved about the book. Some other things that I didn't really like is that also it's a really easy read. It takes literally a day. I finished it in a day. So it's a really easy read. The concepts are really easy to grasp. It's it gives you new perspectives on some things that you may have seen. For instance, meditation. For me, meditation is sitting. I love guided meditation. I love not letting my intrusive thoughts come in and then getting redirected into my breath. However, Brianna Wiest had a different perspective to meditation. She says that we should actually let those intrusive thoughts come in and we should just listen to them and hear them from outside and see what they're saying. So I think that was a new perspective that I found really impactful. It was pretty cool because I'm gonna be looking for now my intrusive thoughts as well and see how that goes for just understanding myself and seeing if that helps with my journaling as well. Things that I did not like from the book is firstly, it was quite abstract. There were no actionable ways that you can apply her principles. So she was telling you exactly what self sabotage is, what these things are, and like how you can overcome them. But when the how you can overcome and resolve them had no practical examples on how you can actually do this. Like for instance, like maybe I wanted to see something where, like when I'm journaling, how can I help resolve an issue that I'm fighting with, such as some kind of self sabotage behavior that I'm doing. There was nothing in that course. It did say how to resolve it, but it didn't say how to specifically resolve it. Like like in terms of having some actionable ways, such as SMART goals or NICE goals, like having those actionable ways to actually um, work on those issues or like those um, self-sabotaging behaviors that you want to fix. So that's one thing that I didn't like about the book. Yeah, one other thing I didn't like about the book was it seemed quite repetitive. There were times where I read like pages on pages and it seemed like it's just talking about the same thing. And then I remember just going to a different chapter and it seemed very familiar as it seemed very similar to what I read like 2 chapters ago. So I think in that sense like I did have to reread a couple times just because I was like trying to critically think and then it seemed like it was just similar even though when I did reread it still seemed very similar to previous things that you said in the book. So that those are the couple of ways I didn't like that book too much, but I would say overall it's a great read, especially if something related to self-help, self-love is new and you're just beginning the journey for your self-improvement journey. I think it's a beautiful book. I think it's perfect read for the beginning because it's very easy read and because it reiterates the topic so much, you'll really like internalize them. And yeah, that's what you could do. So I'll rate this book a 4.2 out of 5. So, if you like that video, please subscribe and share it with your friends and family that might be interested in summaries of the books that I just read. So, thank you for your time and see you in the next video.